Hey, what's going on, guys? And a happy Friday the 13th to you. I'm actually recording this on Friday the 12th of October, one day before Friday the 13th. And those of you who watch my channel on a regular basis know that my favorite horror movie franchise of all time is Friday the 13th, and I have a little collection, and I'm going to showcase that in this video. I'm going to show you guys everything that I have that's Friday the 13th related. I have some masks, because what would a Friday the 13th collection be without Jason Voorhees mask? I have some Blu-rays, some VHS, some DVDs, some books, some poster type signs, I guess. Not really posters, but I have some vinyl LPs. I have some horror figures. I have some wine, and I have some memorabilia. So let's get right into this. This is going to be a fairly long video. So if you guys want to pause it here, go get some snacks and come back and enjoy. So the first thing we'll get into is VHS tapes that I have. And these were part of a trade from fellow YouTuber Derek, who is no one. He's actually a really good guy. He's not no one, but he goes by the name No One. I'll link him down below in this video so you guys can go check out his channel. But we did a trade. And he sent me the entire Friday the 13th VHS collection, and I put them in these little plastic cases to protect them. They were in pristine, perfect mint condition when he sent them, and I wanted to preserve that. So this is the very first Friday the 13th VHS with the actual theatrical poster for the film. So this is part 1 from 1980. And this was also part 1. I purchased this one separately. This is also part 1, but it came in a different alternate cover. This one was a little more rare, I guess. So I threw this one also in a plastic container. Here's part 2. Just going to kind of breeze through just to show you guys what I have. I do have a lot to show, so I don't want to spend too much time on any one particular item. If there's anything you guys see that you want to know more about, just comment below and I can contact you guys. Here's part 3. This one had a really cool poster. This was a 3D movie, and the blade looked like it was coming through the poster. It's hard to pick up on my camera phone here, but it was a really nice cover. I really enjoyed that one. And part 3 was the premiere of The Mask, because in part 1 it was Jason's mother. Spoiler alert for a 40-year-old movie, but in part 2 it was Sackhead Jason, and part 3 is when he got the mask. So here's the final chapter. But was it really the final chapter? No, it was not, because they have since made, well, they have made 12 movies total, and the next one that they make, which is in production, I guess, is going to be part 13. So that will be Friday the 13th, part 13. And I'm looking forward to checking that out. I do not have the game yet, and I have not played it. I know it's been out. It was available for a digital download a few months ago, and now it's finally coming out on PS4. I wasn't really impressed with what I saw, but I will probably end up picking that up at some point. I'm not going to pay $60 for it. If I can find it for maybe 20 to 30 at some point down the road, I'm in no hurry to get it. But I will probably get that just to play at some point, just to check it out. Here's part 6. This is Jason Lives. This was a really good one. Here's part 7, The New Blood. I still do have a VHS player. I still have a DVD player, and I have a couple Blu-ray region-free players. But I haven't watched a VHS tape in a long time. Here's part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. And here's the last one. This one is Jason Goes to Hell, Special Collector's Edition. And Sean S. Cunningham was back in the mix on this one. lot of people give this movie some hate, but I like it. I really enjoy this one. It was different. I give them credit for trying something different. So that was the VHS. Those are all the VHS tapes I have for Friday the 13th. So I think the next things I'll show you guys are the DVDs with the deluxe lenticular slipcovers. And the first one here is Friday the 13th Uncut. It has like a 3D lenticular cover, but it doesn't really change the image at all. It just kind of gives it that 3D depth. And again, here's part 2. They all have that same style cover. There's actually one DVD cover I have that does change the image, and I'll show you guys that after these deluxe. This is the 3D. I really enjoyed part 3. I think it's probably my favorite in the series. Part 1 is always a very good movie to start off the franchise, but I think if I had to pick one favorite out of the 12 that were made, I would pick part 3. Here's part 5, A New Beginning. Part 6, Jason Lives. Part 7, The New Blood. Part 7's really good. And the last one I have is Jason Takes Manhattan. This is part 8. That's a cool cover. Okay, so moving right along. Here's the lenticular cover I was telling you guys about, the one that does change image. It incorporates the original poster art, which is the silhouette of Jason with the campers in the background, and then it turns into Jason's mask. I thought that was a really nice touch. So I'm glad to have that in the collection. Here's a documentary that I think everybody should watch. This is called His Name Was Jason, 30 Years of Friday the 13th. This is the 2-disc edition. There was also a 1-disc. And the bonus disc in this one has the final cuts with extended interviews. It has more stories from Camp Blood. It has script to screen interviews and a Camp Crystal Lake survival guide. And this is from Anchor Bay. This is a really good edition. I'll pop it open to show you guys. We got some promotional items here. There's a poster that comes with it. I believe it's the same image that's on the cover here. I'm not going to pull that out. But you get over 4 hours of bonus materials. The next one is a triple pack of Jason Goes to Hell, Jason X, and Freddy vs. Jason. This was given to me by an eBay seller. I purchased something else and they threw this in as a kind of a freebie. I didn't need it, but I'll take it. It's a little bit beat up for my liking. I'm a little bit picky with my collection, but as a freebie, I'll take it. And here is a fan-made movie called Jason vs. Leatherface. It's horrible. It looks like elementary school kids made it, but I rolled the dice and gave it a shot. And you know, I give the kids credit. You can tell they were pretty young. I give them credit for trying to make a movie. You know, I don't have any movies, so I can't really be a critic, I guess. But this one I purchased on eBay years ago, and yeah, it just wasn't that good. And then here's the New Line Platinum series of Freddy vs. Jason. Is this a 2-disc? I can't recall. It is. This is a 2-disc edition. It has a bunch of bonus features. There's deleted alternate scenes. There's a alternate opening and ending, and there's commentary, behind the scenes, and a bunch of stuff that you'd want to watch as a fan of the franchise. Here is a UK edition of the first Friday the 13th. I'm not sure if this is completely uncut. You can see Kevin Bacon's death scene. And here is a set that I've had for a long time, and this one, I purchased this one brand new years ago, and it does have some shelfware for my collection, for myself, I guess. But this is called From Crystal Lake to Manhattan, the Ultimate DVD Edition. At the time, this was the only way to get these on DVD. And you can see that it comes in the slim cases, and it has 2 movies per slim case. And it also has a bonus Killer Extras DVD. Well, at the time, I was very happy with this, but Blu-ray has since come out, and it looks much better on Blu-ray, but I still like to keep all this stuff just to have it in my collection. And here is something you game fans out there would probably like. This was another fan-made, this is like a clamshell for the Nintendo Friday the 13th game. This was never really released as a clamshell. It came in a cardboard box, but there's a guy on eBay selling these. You can get, he has a lot of different rare stuff. I wish I remembered what his seller name was, but I don't. But I purchased the game and the booklet separately, and then I bought the clamshell and put it in there, and I really like the way that looks. And he did a great job. He has a bunch of stuff on there. If you guys are interested in old retro gaming, just check out on eBay, go to like Friday the 13th clamshell, and you'll find that guy. And here is the DVD box set that came with the little mask, the little mini mask, which is about the size of my hand, so you can't wear it or anything. But this is all 8 deluxe edition DVDs, which I did show you the deluxe DVDs with the lenticular slips already, but this is just the box set here, and comes with the book, and you can see this was never opened. I keep this as a collectible. But you do get parts 1 through 8. You get an 8-page booklet, 2 pairs of 3D glasses, a limited edition of the hockey replica mask, and a bunch of bonus features. And this is another one I purchased years ago at Best Buy when it came out. Probably 10 years ago, I would say. And something that doesn't have anything to do with the Friday the 13th movie franchise, but since it is a Friday the 13th overview of my collection, I decided to throw this in. This is the complete television series of Friday the 13th, which was kind of like a horror anthology show, similar to like Twilight Zone, Tales from the Crypt. And this is all 3 seasons with every episode. And they were selling these at Best Buy for pretty cheap. I think it was like 15 to 20 bucks. You get this nice fat pack that has the swing trays on the inside. And I do remember watching the show as a kid, and I remember it wasn't the greatest show, but if you can get the whole series for like under 20 bucks, I think it's a great deal. So, and I like that cover, so it's pretty cool. And then speaking of the show, the television show, here is a vinyl LP from Friday the 13th, the TV series. This is the original music from that show. So we're getting into the vinyl LPs here now. And these are in no particular order. Anything I'm doing, I'm just kind of grabbing from a pile. Trying to just kind of move this along to keep it entertaining for you guys, I guess. But here is Friday the 13th Part 2 LP. And this is from Waxwork Records. And this is all music from Harry Manfredini. And it's a 2 LP. You get 17 tracks total. And it comes in a, I suppose I can open it up and show you guys, might as well. It comes in a gatefold, which means it just kind of opens up like this, and then you can see some really nice artwork that they put in here. The Sackhead Jason. And then the records are housed on the inside here. I'm not going to pull all that stuff out. It would just make for a very long video, but I'm just going to kind of keep this moving along here. Here is Friday the 13th, Part 3 in 3D on vinyl. Pull this one out. This one also has a gatefold. Show you the back first. This is another Waxwork Records. I like to keep the little trinkets and wrappers and J-cards for all my stuff, but that's what the Waxwork Records sticker logo looks like. And then there is the very hideous Jason Voorhees with one of his victims who was beheaded. Okay, kind of running out of room here, so bear with me. Here is the original Friday the 13th LP, which is long out of print now, and it's very pricey now. I was lucky I picked it up when I grabbed it a couple years ago. And this is another Waxwork Records. It's a 2LP. Pull the plastic off and check out the inside here. That's what the little sticker looked like. And then it just has some write-ups about the film and the music. And then the LPs are housed in there. You guys all know that. And then here is one of the gems in my collection. This is one of my favorites. This is the Friday the 13th Part 3, which I showed you already. But this is the rare edition because, well, there's a couple reasons. I'm going to go back for a second to show you the difference. This is the one that was re-released, the one on the left here. This one was the original release, and it has the 3D lenticular plate on the front. And this was also signed by Harry Manfredini, and he kind of colored in some musical notes. And I thought this was a beautiful addition. And this is one of the gems of my collection. Very glad to have that. Okay, so what do we do next? We'll go, I have a couple books. Actually, you know what? I'm going to save the books last because I have a little giveaway. We're going to do a couple trivia questions at the very end, and I'm going to give this away. This is a Friday the 13th Part 3 in 3D with the lenticular slip. This was one that I picked up at FYE for a couple bucks. And we'll do a little trivia at the end, and if I'll give that away to somebody. But we'll go through the Blu-rays now, and again, these are in no particular order. I'm just going to kind of pull from a pile. This is Friday the 13th Killer Cut from the 2009 film with Derek Mears playing Jason Voorhees. I really like this one. This is probably going to be the first movie I watch tomorrow on Friday the 13th. I always try to watch a couple on that day. I'm going to watch this one first tomorrow. I love the opening scene in this movie. It is so great. This is a good movie. I know this one gets a lot of hate too, but I love it. Here's another must-own for those of you who are big Friday the 13th Jason fans. This is another documentary called Crystal Lake Memories, the complete history of Friday the 13th. This was put out by 1428 Films, and this one came with the bonus disc. If you pre-ordered it, I don't think it comes with the bonus disc anymore. You could still get this. I think you could still order this, but it will not come with the bonus disc. Well, I'll get into that in a second, but I'll just kind of show you the swing trays. It's 2 Blu-rays and 2 DVDs. And the bonus disc just had some extra interviews and some commentary and stuff like that. So you're not really missing a whole lot without the bonus disc. But if you can find it with the bonus disc, grab it. But I recommend grabbing that any way you can get it. This is a really good documentary. I think it's like 20 hours long or something like that. It says 400 minutes, but I think if you watch every single feature and commentary, you can get some serious hours out of that. Here is Friday the 13th, Uncut, and it is signed by Irwin Keyes, who recently passed away. He was, I think he was a busboy in Part 1, but you'll remember him from other movies like The Devil's Rejects. There's Ari Lehman, who's the very first Jason. He played the child Jason. He's the one that pulled Pulled the canoer off. And at the top, Jason never dies. Here is part 2, which I picked this one up at FYE for $5. It's still sealed. Amy Smart was in that one. Here's part 3 and 4. This is the Canadian edition. This is out of print now, and this one's going for a little money. I think this one goes around 40 bucks. Here is Freddy vs. Jason in 2009 again. It's not really a remake. Some people call it the 2009 remake, which I think it's a whole new entity in the franchise. Here is part 7 and 8. This one is also out of print. This one goes for a little bit of money. Which, if you check out your FYE, if you guys still have one in your area, you may find stuff like this pretty cheap. Sometimes they don't know the stuff that's out of print and it gets by them. Sometimes if a Blu-ray is out of print, it's going for 40, 50 bucks. You can still get it at FYE for 10 to 15 bucks. Where you can see I got that one for 15. So there are deals to be found out there. And here is 5 and 6, which is also out of print. And here is the Granddaddy. This is the edition to get, but it's very pricey. I think it's over $200 now. This is the Friday the 13th tin collection with 12 films in it. The complete collection. You get 12 films on 9 Blu-rays. Comes with the tin case. Comes with the 40-page Crystal Lake Memories book. Brand new embroidered Camp Crystal Lake patch. And a bonus disc full of features. So let's check this one out. I really love this edition. This is the one I watched the most. Here's what the tin looks like when it's opened up. You can see the dock going into Camp Blood, into the Camp Crystal Lake there. And it does have some artwork on the inside. That is a scene from the 2009 movie. Here is the replica of the Camp Crystal Lake Memories book, which I do have the full edition of that. I'll show that momentarily, but this is like a mini version of that film, of that book I should say. And I'm not going to go through the whole thing. There's Ari Lehman right there, and Tom Savini, the great Tom Savini. Jason X, Shavar Moore. Here is the Camp Crystal Lake patch, counselor patch. You get 2 pairs of 3D glasses. You get a little, I'm not really sure what they call this, but it's almost like it's like a bracelet, but I have pretty big hands, and this thing just kind of, it's not really a bracelet. I kind of just use it to hold the book together. It comes in this digibook style, which is really nice. I love the way that they put this together. The packaging is excellent in this. I know at Best Buy when I picked this up originally, when it first came out, there were a lot of tins that were damaged. And I think that's part of the reason why this edition is so expensive. I don't think a lot of them survived. This one is in pristine condition. I'll put all that stuff away later. Save you guys the boredom. Okay, we'll get into the books here now. The first one I have is called 613, a Friday the 13th movie trivia book. And the foreword is written by the first Jason, Ari Lehman. And it just has some little tidbits and questions. We're going to go through this at the very end. I just wanted to kind of show this now. I think I'm going to ask 3 questions out of that book. And whoever gets them right, the first one to get the 3 right will get that free DVD. Here is the big Crystal Lake Memories book. And just to kind of show you a size comparison, let me pull this other book back out. This is how small the Blu-ray book is. And to kind of show you a size comparison with an LP, It's a little bit smaller, the book is, but it's a pretty big book. It's pretty heavy. And again, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I do recommend grabbing this book if you guys haven't picked it up already. It's over 300 pages. It's got, I mean, just tons of beautiful photos from the series, and you get all kinds of write-ups. You get the posters, and just, I mean, this is just a beautiful piece. I love it. Now, if I was a convention guy, I've never been to a convention in my life. As big a horror fan as I am, just the area I live in, I would have to travel quite a... I think the closest place is Chicago. I'm only 20 minutes south of Milwaukee, but they don't really have a lot of conventions there. But I would love to get this signed up by some of the actors and actresses who played in this series. I know a lot of you guys out there, you heavy collectors, do go to conventions, and a lot of guys have these completely signed up, and I'm jealous of that, but I mean, it looks so cool. But this one has no signatures in it. Okay, let's see. We'll get into the masks here next. This is from Friday the 13th, the final chapter. This is a replica full-size mask. You could actually wear this for Halloween if you wanted to. It's very heavy, put together very well. This is from NECA Toy Company. The next one is Friday the 13th, A New Beginning. Try to speed it up a little bit. I see we're approaching half-hour mark. This is from the 2009 movie. It's made to look like it's weathered. It's kind of a bronzish look to it. And finally, for the NECA masks, here is the Nintendo version of the mask, and it was kind of like a sky blue or a powder blue, if you will. That's the way it turned out with the purple background, and NECA captured that beautifully. So there's the Nintendo box that I showed you guys earlier. I love it. And here's another gem in my collection. This is a mask that is signed up. I actually purchased this from a eBay seller. I didn't get these signatures personally. I wish I did, but I didn't. And I'm going to pull out the photos of the guys signing it, and I'm going to go over and show you exactly who signed and where. So give me a second here to get my stuff together. I have all the Jasons on here except for Richard Brooker, who sadly passed away. And all right, here we go. So this is a photo of Ari Lehman, who was the very first Jason. And you can see that he signed it right there. Try to get the reflection off there, but it says Ari Lehman, Jason 1. Here is a picture of Steve Dash, who played Jason Part 2 with the sack. Where's Steve Dash? Here he is right here. He says, or he signed it, Steve Dash, the real Jason. And then he put Roman numeral 2. Here is Ted White, who was Jason in the final chapter, which was Part 4. And Ted White, signed it right there. And next is C.J. Graham, who is a monster of a man, very nice. From all the interviews I've seen about him, he's a really huge guy, but he's really nice. And C.J. signed it right there, Jason 6. And everybody knows who that is right there. That is Kane Hodder, who played Jason in 7, 8, 9, and 10. There's Kane Hodder right there. 7, 8, 9, and X. And there is Derek Mears, who played Jason in 2009. Jason right there. Or Derek Mears, I'm sorry. And if you guys are interested in maybe picking up some Friday the 13th memorabilia or signed stuff from the franchise, this is where I picked it up at, horrorautographs.com. So a little plug for that guy. And then he also threw in a certificate of authenticity as well as the pictures. So that is that. I will put that away later. Alright, now we're going to get into the horror figures. First one is one that I picked up a few years ago at my local Walmart. Right around the Halloween season, they start to put out some of their Halloween stuff. So this was one of the items they were selling.
Jason, Mother is talking to you.
Okay, and speaking of Pamela Voorhees, there she is with young Jason. This is another NECA toy. Real toys. These are a little expensive, they're a little pricey, but NECA really does a great job with their detail, and I'm sure that my camera phone's not going to pick up all the detail you need to see, but these are really nice. Here's Roy, the ambulance driver from Part 5, A New Beginning. One of my, I would say it's probably one of my least favorite of the franchise, but I still like it. I mean, it comes with some bloody shears right here. Comes with the removable hand, which I always keep my toys sealed, just to keep them nice and minty fresh, but I mean, they're such a pain to clean when they get dusty, and really have a whole lot of room to display them anyway. Here is Jason from the final chapter. I'm gonna have to stop it here and resume in a little bit because my battery is low. And I'm gonna have to go charge my phone, and I'll pick this up in a little bit. I'm gonna at least get through the figures, and then when I come back I'll show you guys some memorabilia and the big collectible that I have, the big figure. Here's Jason, Sackhead Jason from Part 2, played by Steve Dash. Here is the Jason from the Nintendo game. The purple clothes and the blue mask and hands and feet. The 8-bit Jason. Here's a boxed figure from NECA. That is actually part of the background music that was in the Nintendo game. And here is probably my favorite figure. This is Jason from Friday the 13th Part 3 3D, and it comes with this lenticular box cover. And there is the man himself. Comes with the removable head, you can switch it, and it comes with some bloody pipe wrench and a knife, pitchfork, harpoon. If you guys saw the movie, you know all that stuff was in there. And then there's a machete and a axe. It's a really nice addition. You can take the mask off and you can see his hideous, deformed face. And the last figure is the little Funko Pop vinyl figure. Not a very big Funko Pop guy, but I do have a couple, and I had to have the Jason one. So I'm going to stop it here, guys, for a minute. And I'm going to go charge my phone, and then I'm going to come back. You're not even going to know the difference, but I'm just going to continue on. Okay, see you guys in a little bit.